everyone. So, you are listening to Totally Unprepared. This is our very first episode. There's. Okay. No, this shit's weird. Okay.
This is so weird.
Right,
okay.
This is really weird.
Hey guys, it's a very.
Stop.
Why? I got so into it.
I know, but it was too much.
Okay, first we can't do it at all. Now it's too much. I don't get it. What do you want from me? Am I not good enough?
I'm so sorry. I stole your spotlight.
It's okay. Go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Frida, and this is Laura, and we are the host of Totally Unprepared, where we are just going to be talking about basically all the times we were unprepared for any sort of situation, which is always. Today, we're going to be talking about relationships and all the times we were unprepared in anything like dating, first time having sex, nitty gritty, spicy stuff. Up to your disclosure, we're going to be talking about stuff that, things you probably don't talk to your mom about or like your close friends.
Birds and the bees kind of conversations.
Not only just that, like experiences, like full raw experiences. I think that everyone needs to hear something like that, like.
Yeah. I think that we found ourselves talking a lot and having these really good conversations, and we had a lot of fun, and we realized that we had a lot of kind of like the same things in mind when it comes to these conversations, and we're like, what the fuck? Why do we not do a fucking podcast?
Yeah, because if I were to have heard like the stories that I have now as a young adult, I'm pretty sure I could have avoided a lot of things. And when we were talking about like, oh hey, like maybe we should make a podcast, we were really passionate about like what we wanted to talk about and to actually have it out there for young people or anyone to really relate to and listen to.
Yep. So our very first episode is going to be about
relationships. So, but first, before we get on to that, this is our first podcast ever, first episode, and we're not really out on social media that much, so you probably have no idea who the hell we are. If you're close friends and family, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for supporting.
Thank you for supporting us. You guys are the real ones here.
Remember you once were famous.
Yeah. Do that. So, I'm gonna go first. My name is Frida. I am 24. I'm currently in a relationship. I've been in this relationship for like 4.5 years.
Damn.
It's when I go into relationships, I've noticed that I like to stick through them as long as I can, which could be a little problematic for your own mental health and your own well-being sometimes. But with the right person, if you do communicate, it works out. You get to. And
then when you get older, you kind of know.
What you want.
If you were in the relationships you were when you were younger now, you would know when to cut it off. You would see the red flags. You would know right away. You didn't have to wait those 2-3 years that you didn't to be like, oh, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Now you're like, if I go through that again, I'm going to know right from the beginning, nope, you're not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something that as with time, you do get to, really know yourself and what you want, and you're able to apply that to the next relationship or in the relationship that you are in currently. So I've been in this relationship for 4.5 years. The way I got into this relationship, we might talk about later because it's a doozy. It really is like quite like a page turner.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think what the audience wants to hear is the juicy stuff of how we're totally prepared. So
yeah, one
of the topics that we would be talking about is what was the topic for today?
Today's relationships. So
but like what about relationships?
Well, we've been like just like not know. Obviously, not everyone knows what to expect in relationships. We can talk about.
How about we talk about like when we lost our virginity?
Sure, we can. That's a great topic. I love that. I do. I love that topic of being open about it.
Yes, and I think my experience was actually similar to yours, which is funny because I made fun of you when you lost your virginity.
Yeah.
And then it happened to me.
Anyway.
Oh, you lost it before I did.
Okay, so. I did. So, the reason why I'm very excited to talk about this topic is because virginity is such like a taboo thing. Thanks. It's such a taboo thing to talk about that a lot of women are really like hush about it, or you know, I'm a women's studies major, so like I go into this stuff hard and I really dissect it. So I'm just gonna go through it like real quick, not to bore you guys, but you know, people treat virginity as if it's like this very sacred thing that someone can take from you, and no one, like as a woman, no one is really entitled to their virginity, and that kind of sucks. You know, it's always being taken away from you. It's nothing that you can really claim. You know, like, oh, I gave someone my virginity, or like they took my virginity, you know, and I want to really like be empowered in that. Talk about like when I had sex, not like when I lost my virginity. It's like when I had sex for the first time. You know, I just think that's very like powerful.
So would you prefer if I just said pop your cherry?
I mean, there's context and everything. But I've been talking a lot about myself, and I think the audience would like to know a couple of things about you.
What then we're going to talk about our experiences?
I know, but you haven't even like I said, like, oh gosh. You getting prepared here? Yeah. So, you know, like I just said my name, my age, and how long I've been in a relationship. You don't have to disclose that if you don't want to.
Yeah, I really don't want to.
Okay, then don't disclose that.
Okay.
You can say like a fun fact.
Okay. What's my fun fact?
You cosplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting stage fright now.
Oh, don't get stage fright, dude. I can't be.
See, I do good with like bouncing off with what you're saying, but when you tell me like talk, I'm like
okay.
You know what I mean? But okay, but my name is Laura, LG for short, and I am 24 years old. I live by my own right now.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Power to you. Yeah.
So, we're gonna be talking about sex.
So, because I had sex first, should I talk about?
I mean, yeah, if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, brief overview.
That's shade, though.
No, just because you were telling me.
I had sex first, so
no,
I
okay. No, just because, you know, I already see you're getting like a little stage fright. Okay. All right, so the first time that I had sex, I was 17 years old. I was with this guy for a little bit rough over a year and a half, and relationships to me were just very romanticized. So I took having sex as this like stamp of like approval, like this very is serious. What our relationship is. It's going to be very serious. This is going to seal the deal. And funny fact, it was 2012 when I had sex, and it was December 21st, 2012. So if anyone knows about that date, that is the end of the world. I don't know if you remember, but there were all of these things.
What do you mean? I was there.
Yes,
I lived through it.
Yeah, so it was like the end of the world, December 21st,
so you were like, I gotta fuck him before I die.
So I was like, you know, like,
I gotta pop that cherry before I go.
I had just finished a midterm, and we got to leave early because, you know, I didn't have any more midterms, and I was like, okay, the person that I was with, like, we were, you know, talking about this, like, varying communication of when this was gonna happen, you know, protection, everything. So
did you use protection?
Yes, I did use protection. Okay, always use protection. It doesn't matter, even if you're married, you know, like, maybe, you know,
there's
still
use
cheaters
it. Out there.
Still,
I'm just saying.
Just
then they're gonna pass them with STDs to you too.
Yeah, just use protection, okay?
But I don't wear a condom though.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, we talked about it, and I was, like, building up my expectations really, really, really high, and we had sex, and I cried. I don't know if it was like...
Was it like during or after?
It was during, like during, because one, it wasn't like sobbing, like you know, you lost a family member and you're sobbing. It was more like I'm like kind of teary eyed, like because it hurt. I was bleeding, and like I think I was like, because I had that idea of like sealing the deal. Like I was like, oh, like this is your life now. Like
I think I know what you mean.
Sex, you know, like emotionally attached to that. So I was just like, wow, okay, so like this is happening, and nothing really changed. That's like the big whoop, that nothing really changes. It's just like I even looked at myself in the mirror like after the fact, and I was just like, oh, I am still me. Like nothing changed. And my relationship with this person, like nothing changed other than we were now engaging in sexual activity. And then it didn't work out with this person. It didn't work out. Things were
also,
said.
You were very religious at the time.
Oh yes, I was very religious at the time. My parents, hopefully they're not listening to this, but okay. You know, it's just something that I feel like in the Mexican culture, like being religious is like a really big part of it. And growing up, you know, you're always told like you need to be, you know, pure. You need to keep yourself for marriage, for the right person. And the thing is, now as an adult, like I do kind of see where they're coming from, but not from
not to like that extent.
Not to that extent.
Especially as a female.
Yeah, like as a female, you know, you're always taught to keep yourself. Them legs closed. Save yourself. Keep your legs closed. Like, why did you open your legs? It is una puta, you know, if you go out and have sex before you're married. You know, and now as an adult, I see where they're coming from, but not to the extent of like being religious, but more of the extent of like, you don't know what the other person's gonna do. You don't, like, feelings change, people change, and being that young, and because of having that like romanticized view on sex and relationships, you know, you get attached. As a young person, you get very attached to that idea and to the person, and then when
we're really into the politics of virginity instead of just telling our story.
Oh no, okay, but I'm just saying, you know, like that's how it was for me.
But like, I want to know like what was leading up to it. Where were you guys? Like, how long did it last? Like that. Kind of stuff.
Okay. So it lasted maybe like around 30, 40 minutes.
Really? Was it a lot of foreplay, or was it like
kind of
for like too long?
It was like me going back and forth of, do I want to do it or not?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, not like the actual act, but like the actual act probably lasted like 20 minutes. But you know, it's just like leading up to like, do I really want to do this? Do I not want to do this? You know, all of these things playing out.
Was it like in his house or your house?
It was in their house, not in my house. My mom didn't work, so she was in the house. So their parents, you know, like they worked, they weren't in the house. And I mean,
what was the size?
I don't know.
Yes, you fucking know. Don't fucking lie to me.
I mean, like this thing? Oh god.
Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. This.
No. I just, you know, like, it was good until like.
Good.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good.
I don't know what that means, guys.
You know, it was just.
It was your first time, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like, oh my god.
And the thing is, I thought it was gonna be like that, and it wasn't. I was so disappointed. Yeah. You know, like I don't know.
And I think, but the big reason is because it was hurting. Like, how can you have this amazing, passionate sex when it's your first time? Like, it's hurting you, right? Because that's what happened to me too. Yeah. It hurt a lot when I first did it. Yeah. So that's probably why you also didn't feel like it was
like I was like, what to do? Yeah. But I just Jesus Christ, Laura. So I just, you know, like that was my first time like big whoopie doo, and
that was it. And that was How long did you wait to have sex after that again?
After that, maybe like a week, or no, like maybe like 4 days or something like that. Yeah. And
then did it still hurt again?
No, not anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, it took me like a long time to adjust. So the way that I lost, okay, so I was living with my boyfriend at the time. We lived in El Cajon, and we had been together for like 9 months at the time. No, there's no way I didn't move in with him that early. I don't know, something around there. But I waited a long time to have sex with him because I was absolutely terrified. So so fun fact, I would actually tell people that I lost my virginity, like in high school when people would ask me, and I always tell them like, yeah, like I've already had sex. But the biggest reason why I would do that is one, every time I said I didn't have sex, or I never had to be like, oh my God, what? Are you serious? Like, is it just because like, you know, and they'd ask me all these questions, and then guys fucking love that shit. They're like, oh, you've never, you know, been fucked, like, let me be the first one. And I hated that approach that guys took. So I would honestly just lie to people and be like, yeah, like I've had sex. And that's it. That's because nobody made a fuss about it if you had. Because, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of normal. We were all like 17 years old, 18.
Yeah.
So I liked everybody, but I actually hadn't. So when my boyfriend at the time, we weren't having sex, he was kind of wondering why. Because I told him that I had already had sex because when we were friends, I did, not knowing that we were going to end up together. Yeah. So for a very long time, I had to hide the fact that I was actually a virgin. So I didn't tell him for a very long time, and I didn't want to. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to say, like, oh, it's just because I haven't done it so long that I'm afraid it's going to hurt. And I fucking lied to him for so long. And then finally, I was like, I can't keep up with this because every time we tried to do it, it hurt, and I would have to stop him. So I finally sat him down, and I told him, and he was like, well, I kind of figured that.
He's like, I knew your trick anyway.
He's like, because this one time he asked me who I lost it to, and I said I couldn't remember, and he was like, at that point, it kind of triggered me to think, like, maybe she hasn't lost it, and she's lying. Like, how do you not remember who you lost it to, you know? So then I told him the whole thing, and he said, no, I understand. But we kept trying, and it just still hurts so much. I was one of those people. And then when we were living together, this one time, it was on a Sunday. You know how Sundays feel, all like, you want to be with, like, your partner. And Sunday morning, we drink your coffee. So anyways, it was one of those type of Sundays. We went to the pool for a little bit. I don't know what it is about the pool, but it makes everybody freaky. So we went to the pool, and then we were feeling really happy. We're like, let's go get a Little Caesars pizza and come back and watch a movie. We felt amazing. And so I was like, fuck it, let's try it. I put a towel on the floor of our living room. And what I did is I was like, okay, just go in. He used the condom. And you know how, like, when you're having sex, he'll be, like, here, and you're, like, right here, you know? Like, he's behind you. I purposely kept him like that so he wouldn't see my face. So when I was like, I'm just going to force myself. This is it. I'm done trying. And then I say no. So I do that, and he's putting it in, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, just the entire time, like, my face, I was like, oh, but God. I wouldn't let him see it, because I was holding him like that, and he just, you know, kind of slowly, and I was like,
the facial expression,
and I wouldn't let him come up, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep going. And then I realized after a while, I'm like, okay, like, we're doing it, like, this is happening, oh my gosh. And it took like only about 5 minutes or so, and we both came at the same exact time.
Magical.
It was magical. It actually felt
Chef's
really
kisses.
good. And then I started crying after. Which is funny because when she told me she cried,
everyone made fun of me. Fucking assholes.
But I get it now. I was 19 when I lost it, so I was older. I was sexually frustrated for so many freaking years, but I was so scared. I was always so terrified of sex for that same reason. They like hype it up, man. Oh, yeah. They hype up virginity so bad that I was so terrified to who I was gonna lose, and I was trying to be careful. And then, anyways, I did it. I cried, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And he was like, no, it's like totally fine. I get it. And after that, we were really happy. We were finally like, God, I'm so glad we finally got to have sex. But it was still a challenge because after that I still had to, it still hurt a lot. Yeah. So it took me a while to get used to it. But yeah, that was the first time I lost my virginities on the living room floor on a beach towel that lasted 5 minutes, and then I cried.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, chef's kisses too, you know. Orgasming at the same time.
That honestly is the best part, when you guys can orgasm at the same time. That's the best. I love that. Even if it's like not your first time, but just in general having sex.
Yeah, because it's actually kind of hard to like do that at the same time, or like,
especially if he comes away faster. It's just like,
and you're just like, wow, I'm just left here to fend for myself. How fucking rude, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. First sex stories.
What's like your? Oh, I know your crazy sex story. You gotta elaborate on that one.
Do you know my craziest sex story? What is it?
Where you shit yourself.
Bitch, what the fuck? No.
This is supposed to be real.
I know.
Girl.
That was gross.
But that's hilarious.
Alright, I know. But it was fucking gross.
But I mean, people will love it.
Okay.
People will come back if you say that.
Oh my god, that shit is disgusting. Okay. So what ended up happening was I tried anal for the first time. No one tells you that shit hurts more than...
That's what everybody says. What do you mean nobody told you?
But nobody tells you it hurts that much.
Oh, I heard it hurts a lot.
Oh, Laura, I'm telling you now. It hurts like fucking hell. Okay. So I didn't want to do it because I kept feeling that I needed to poop. Okay. And
I needed to poop.
Yeah, this person was just like, no, that's okay. Like, that's just normal. That's how you're gonna feel. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you, man, like, I really need to take a shit. And he was just like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I was like, okay. So we're doing it. And then, like, I just smelled the stinkiest of smells. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I just shat. Cool for you, bro. And then he just goes, oh, and I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you pooped. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck do you think?
Did he have a condom on or not?
I don't remember. Like,
if he didn't, that's even more
That's fucking
gross.
disgusting, dude. I don't remember. I think he did. I don't remember, but I was just like...
So, you guys were going at it, and then did you feel it come out?
No, I didn't. That's the weird thing.
Wow.
That's the weirdest thing. Like, I didn't feel anything come out, but I sure did fucking smell it, and I was just like...
And then you did see it.
And then, like...
Did it get on the bed and everywhere
I
else?
don't think so. I think it just got all over him, and it was so bad. And I was just like, I told you. You didn't fucking listen. This is your fucking fault. You know?
What happened after that? Did you like
well, the thing...
Did you cry?
Out of fucking embarrassment, yeah. I was like, fuck, that's fucking embarrassing.
I cried too.
They cleaned themselves up. I cleaned up, but I was just like, oh.
Do you think that's ever happened to him before?
Well...
With somebody else? Maybe that's why it was like all nonchalant.
Well, if it was nonchalant, then that's kind of fucking alarming now, because I was the only person he was with during the time. Well, I was like his only girlfriend, so like then that must have meant that he cheated, which spoiler alert, he fucking did. So, yeah. What's
Don't mind me.
Oh yeah. So what's your craziest sex story?
I don't even know if I have one, to be very honest.
Oh, you're just trying to put me on the fucking spot. That's great.
I mean, there's like stories where, you know, I mean, you have sex in different places, you know, you wear certain things, but to have like a really embarrassing story, I don't think I have one.
No.
Okay.
Have you ever queefed while you're having sex?
No, but I farted. I do remember farting. I think I was on top of him. And I was riding him, and then I fucking farted. Yeah, that's probably really fucking embarrassing. I fucking farted, and I was like, oh no, and I got off, and I was like, no, I'm done. Like, I couldn't do it because I was so embarrassed.
Okay. I've told you this. Okay. It's happened to me only twice, where I feel like I might have peed on them. But
no,
it's
you
not
told me about that. It's not pee. That happened to me too. Okay, I was gonna actually say that before you said that. Is that for a while, not for a while, but the very first time that happened to me, where it was just like water everywhere, I thought that I had peed on him, and I was really embarrassed. And then I realized it's not. So if you guys look it up, it's not peeing. It's actually what is it called?
It's like an orgasm, basically. And you're just, like, spewing out all these fluids.
And honestly, that's better. Like, if you've never made your girl that fucking wet, or girls, if you've ever been that fucking wet, you're fucking missing out. It's like the best fucking feeling ever. If you are not spewing out fluids from your vagina, what are you even doing?
Oh, God.
Like, no, for real. It's almost like you get 2 orgasms because that comes before the orgasm. I mean, that's why it's fucking amazing. So, it's not pee, and it's a good thing, men and women.
I guess I just have a lot of embarrassing sex stories.
Why? What else do you have?
No, because it's like that, like crying, pooping, thinking you're peeing, queefing,
farting,
accidentally punching them by accident.
You accidentally punched them.
Elbowing them.
This one time.
Dutch ovening them.
I do remember this one time we were having sex, and like the way he was trying to position me, he didn't realize that while he was having sex, he actually had me like the way he had me, just like because he didn't realize that he had bent my arm in a certain way. So I was like this, and I was like, I can't get my arm out.
Okay, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, this shit's fucking hilarious. Okay.
Oh, God.
So what's the grossest thing your partner has ever done that you didn't have the heart to tell them, like, during sex?
Nothing. No, nothing. With a couple of guys that have had sex, I've had some really bad sex with other guys, but with this other guy that I was in a relationship for like 4 years and a half, with him, he's a very vanilla guy. Mm-hmm. He's like okay with missionary and doggy style once in a while, and like he's good to go. So he's never really done anything gross. He's never expected. If anything, it's kind of the opposite. Like I'll be like, let's do this. He'll be like, maybe not, because. Mm-hmm. He grew up very Christian, so he's very just normal. And I've asked him plenty of times, like, let's do this, let's do that, and he just doesn't want to do it. We've, like, role-played once, and I was the...
So it's not, like, the grossest things he's ever done, but, like, the things he just doesn't do.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So not being gross, but things he's not doing.
Yeah. I mean, we did role-play, so he was...
I've never done that.
Really?
Like, never...
It was kind of hard with him because he wasn't really into it. He was kind of awkward. And I was like, come on. Because I was a Punisher and he was a Green Lantern.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh, like, from what planet are you from? And he was like, stop. And I was like, what? We're supposed to roleplay. He just wanted to see me in the costume, but he didn't actually want to, like, roleplay. And I did. But while we were doing that, we were watching porn together. Have you ever watched porn together with anybody?
No.
No? Have you ever wanted to?
No.
I think it's fun.
Okay.
I think you should try it. I think here's the thing is with sex, you have to try a lot of things because it gets really boring and it's the same thing over and over again. Spice it up. I actually just bought handcuffs like 2 days ago with the little key and stuff because I wanted to, venture out. If you want to hold my hand, just tell me.
I don't want to hold your hand. I'm just comfy here.
But yeah, you have to venture out. If you are being so vanilla and it's just only like missionary and doggy style, because doggy style is not even freaky anymore. Doggy style is like the norm. People start with doggy style. All right, that's like first base. Like you need to venture out and do a lot of different things to keep spicing it up in the bedroom. So that's what I look forward to, just trying a lot of new things.
Well, the grossest thing, the partners that I've ever had, like, the grossest thing one of them did was they were just excessively fucking sweaty.
Oh, gosh.
Like, it wasn't even hot, dude. And he was, like, on top of me.
It wasn't even hot.
And then it was just, like, fucking pouring rain.
Oh,
and I was like...
Oh, my God, that's disgusting.
Like, are you okay, sir?
Sir?
And they were just like apologizing. I was like, no, it's okay. But now looking back, I was like, that shit got in my mouth. I was like, that's just gross.
That got in your mouth?
I was just like,
I would have been like, get off.
I was just like, yikes, bro. You okay. That was just weird.
That's actually happened to me once before with this other guy who was sweating a lot, and I wanted to like kiss on his body, but I couldn't because I was like, I'm not getting your fucking nasty ass sweat on my mouth. And it's funny because later on he was like, we're talking about like what we could do better, and he was like, well, you could like kiss me on my body. I'm like, bitch, I wanted to, but you were sweating so bad, so I didn't. So he was like, okay, I know, I totally understand.
It's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
My bad.
Oh
But
my god.
what's like what's one of the things that you would want to do?
One of the things that I would want to do, just like be very flexible. Like I'm really chunky right now, and like I'm very limited to like the things that I can do. So honestly, just like anything is like game, you know.
Anything is game.
Anything. Like right now, I'm just like surprised I can extend my legs right now. Like that's just so awkward. Like when you want to try new things, and it's just, you know, like, oh shit, like I can't lift my leg because I'm not flexible. Yeah. You know, and it fucking hurts.
Like I hate like the one where they like you're on the bed and they're trying to, you have your, you know, legs like this and they push it up, and I was like, no, that really hurts. Do not. I'm gonna start cramping up.
And it's just.
And it's true. It makes things like kind of unsexy when you're like, oh, stop. You know, I don't like being that person. So like sometimes, even if it is painful, I will endure it for the sake of just keeping it very sexual. Because then you start going like, oh no, don't do this, and oh, do that, and it's just like, it takes away from you getting it on. At least for me, I don't like that. No, sorry, or oh no, fuck it. You know, just go in.
One of the things that I really like about sex is
sex.
talking during sex. Oh my god, no, talking during sex.
Okay.
Like it's just like, I don't know, like what, like not. I don't mean like casual like conversation. You know, like that's a little overstepping it.
No. Actually, on that topic, I love casual talking. That's something that the guy with the 4 years, he doesn't like doing, and he didn't catch on for a very long time.
Up to it.
Yeah, no. We like, instead of, because all he would do is just, all right, let's get into it, and you know, and I'm like, no, I like when we're talking and we're kind of doing stuff. We're also just keeping it very casual, like really just kind of relax and get into it. And so I'd be talking, he's like, can we stop talking? And I'm like, all right.
No, I really like.
No, but like casual talking.
Yeah, like casual talking, but not like.
No, I like that. I love that. Like, oh, how's your day? And we're like touching and kissing. Not necessarily, not yet.
No, that's what I meant. Like, while you're like.
Oh, I like that too.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like you're like really slowly, and you're still kind of like an intimate conversation. Then once it starts getting into it, you know when to stop and move into the next
like
level.
because you're like in sync at that point. Hopefully,
yeah. But it's never really worked out for me. He's so awkward with that. He doesn't.
She's like, yep, 2 cheeseburgers today. That's what I ate.
He's like, shh. Calladita más bonita.
Very interesting things, but
so what did you said you liked about talking?
Oh, well, just like, I mean, not being too conversational, but like that, like relaxed conversation, and then just like then getting like dirty, you know, like
like
the dirty words.
The way you said you're like getting dirty,
like some like not too aggressive, but like polite, you know.
With consent.
With consent, you know, we love that. But I'm going.
Have you ever had like what's the weirdest thing that was ever said to you when you guys were talking? Like you fucking slut, or like.
Oh my god. I still think the word pussy triggers me like a lot. So when I hear like, oh yeah, that fucking wet ass pussy, I'm like, oh.
It triggers you in a good way or
like,
in a bad way?
No, like in a, like I'm kind of uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. Like I know in a way it's meant to be hot, but I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Like the words like pussy, cock,
Like, I hate the word cock. I fucking hate that word. I hate the word cock and I hate the word horny. I hate those words. I won't say that.
Yeah, you talked about that, and I was just like, I don't know, like, it's weird.
Really, that's interesting. Like, I feel like pussy's like, on like number like 1 on the like scale. You know.
I don't know. I think it's just like, to me, it's a little bit like I'm uncomfortable, and I have talked to my partner about it. I'm just like. No.
You were gonna say no. No, I definitely like that word. I'll use that in casual conversation.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. We're out in the street, you're like, pussy.
I'm all rapping the car to being like, pussy. But still wet like Florida.
Oh gosh.
But
have you? I mean, because we are talking about, you know, like being totally unprepared. What's like the most unprepared you've ever been for like sex? Because, you know, we kind of already talked about like the first experience having sex, how we were kind of like not prepared for that, like not prepared when people tell you like, or I mean anyone even telling us like it's the same.
Oh, well, I mean, here's one thing. When I first broke up with my ex, I wanted to get over him. And one of the things that they say is if you want to get over him, you gotta go under someone. So me, I honestly wasn't mentally prepared to have sex with somebody else, but I did it anyway. So I was really unprepared in that kind of way. And because of that, I don't think it was because of that, because I think they were also terrible. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the guy that I think I slept with him like 3 times, and each time was terrible. And the only reason I was still hanging out with him is because it was like trying to replace, right? So I was really unprepared for it, and the sex was terrible. I had sex with this other guy too. We only had sex once when we went to his house. Totally unprepared. I didn't even fucking wax. I didn't get to wax or nothing down there. So I was kind of, you know, and we had like just super plain sex. Neither of us came, and it was like, again, all that comes from just being really unprepared. I was just kind of getting over him.
You're like, just like.
It was just, yeah, it was just like a wall where I was like just doing stuff just to do stuff, and then realizing while we were in it, I'm like, oh shit, like we're doing this, like this is terrible. I'm unprepared for what to do, you know? I think that would kind of be my unpreparedness, but besides that, I mean, I've done it anywhere, like in the car, in the park, here. I've done it a lot in the car. So, to me, being unprepared for sex is not a thing unless it's something like that, like emotionally.
I think, yeah. I was going to say the same thing. Like,
really?
Emotionally being unprepared for, like, really bracing yourself and really getting yourself in that headspace of, like, this isn't going to last forever. Like, not just, like, the sex, but, like, the relationship itself.
You know it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and you're not, like, you see things, like, it's like you're looking at all these red flags, like rose-colored glasses or whatever, and you're not prepared.
Rose-colored glasses?
Yeah.
I like that term.
Yeah, that's actually like a common saying.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
I think I might have heard it then.
Yeah. So it's just like that, being like not prepared mentally for the heartbreak, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. Or being totally unprepared when you're having sex with on your period. That's another one.
I personally don't like having sex during my period. I know you obviously think otherwise.
That is so weird.
But to me, I just, the smells, the blood, just like, to me, I don't feel comfortable. Like, I feel like, you know, like, all these contexts of like,
you feel unprepared to even do it.
Just like, yeah, I'm just like, no, like, I wouldn't want to.
Have you ever done it though?
I have in previous relationships, and I think even like then, like, already trying, not like, oh, like, I think it's gross and I'm just never gonna try it, like I've never done it. It's like I've done it and now I know like that's not my thing. You know,
that makes sense. When I'm on my period, I'm like way more inclined to do it. That's when my hormones are going crazy and I want to have sex.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to. Like, I'm over here like, holy shit, fuck me. But I'm not like, I'm not
fuck
like.
me, but don't.
I'm
just wait
like,
6 days.
Just wait. I would probably like I've done it like on my last day when like blood is like minimal, like nothing, you know, condom obviously, but I'm just like frustrated sexually during like those 5 days because it's just like
I have had sex on the very first day of my period. I have a heavy flow, and for that reason I don't necessarily like to do it on the first day. Second day it's still heavy but not as much, and that's when I'm like, all right, let's go in, captain, you know.
Okay.
But I want it way more usually when I'm on my period, and the blood kind of serves as like a lubricant. So that's what's awesome. No, I'm serious. And it works out really well, and it's all slippery and stuff, so it feels better. So I enjoy it. But it is when, like, I had sex where I didn't know I was going to get my period. And then when he takes it out, there's, like, blood on his penis. So that's when I was unprepared.
You're like, huh?
I was like, huh.
Oh, God. You're like, what's going on?
Oh, it's disgusting. I can't put this in my mouth.
Oh my God, no.
Have you ever had any of those experiences with like a one night stand, someone who you haven't been in a relationship with?
So I've only had currently one night stand. One night stand. One Visa insurance. No.
Of course I do. I work for insurance.
Your competitors. Anyway, I've had a single one night stand.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, like,
was it good or
it was freaking delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you taste it? Is that what you meant delicious?
No, I meant like it was just
like the whole thing.
Like the whole thing. Oh wait, no, it wasn't a one night stand because then it ended up like happening just like a couple.
Well, yeah,
times.
but it doesn't matter as long as when you did it to you it was a one night stand.
Oh yeah,
even
like,
if it ended up being a relationship.
It didn't, but
or just something.
It just happened like 2 more times. Anyway, it didn't develop into anything, but it was just like delicious. Like, okay, I wasn't prepared to have a one night stand. Like if that.
Okay.
It's recording. I wasn't prepared to have a one night stand. I don't think anyone is, honestly. It's just, it was freaking like great. To be honest, I was just like
Frosted Flakes, great.
Like, I mean that's kind of subjective, but I mean it was just like.
How's that subjective?
Because you know
I don't
like Frosted Flakes.
What's your problem with Frosted Flakes?
I don't have a problem with them, but I have other cereal preferences.
Okay? Are you cereal right now?
I am cereal right now.
It's fucking lame.
Like,
it's
Crunch.
okay.
Like Captain Crunch is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it crunchy?
It was.
I hope not.
It kind of. But it was like really good. Like, everything was going good. It was like hot, unexpected, so it made it like just like a little bit like more heated, like really, really fucking hot. And
you keep saying hot a lot, Frida.
I do because
you keep saying it was delicious.
It was delicious. It was super hot. Good power to that person. I hope they're actually in a relationship right now, and I wish them the best. I wish them the best.
You wish them really good sex.
I wish them really good sex, and yeah, just. But I've never had like an experience like that, like
taking someone straight from the bar, like that's what you mean.
No, like we were talking about like period wise and like all this other stuff
with them. Okay, so it was just hot. Like you just
it was just like hot, and I was unprepared for it, in the sense of like doing a one night stand. It didn't go anywhere, so I'm happy where I am now. So yeah, but it was good.
It's hard for me to have one night stands. I thought that I wanted them for a really long time too, until I realized I actually have to have some sort of connection to you. Like even if I've known you for just a little bit and I think, oh, you're cute and you are kind of charming.
You really need to be like vibing with that person. Yeah,
you gotta be vibing with the person, and I'll be like, all right, you're a good contestant, Mm-hmm. And in that sort of manner. But one night stands, when I'm at the bar, like I've gone to the bar alone, been like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty until someone comes up and buys me drinks, and then we'll see where that goes. And every time, no matter how cute they were, I was like never inclined, even if I had like a good time, to go home with them. It feels so weird to me, especially because I'm not going to anybody else's fucking house where they can murder me. And I don't want you to come back to my house where you know where I live now. So it's a very tough situation. So it has to be where I kind of know you somewhat. I know your background. I know who your friends are. So in case anything happens, I know who to go to, you know, or I know a little bit about you. You have a background. But I have had sex with people who, like, I only kind of talk to a little bit.
Like, there's some common, like, knowledge of who they are. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know, like, that's just scary to me.
Yeah.
Like,
but with those one-night stands, they were pretty terrible.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know. Like, okay, everybody that I had sex with outside my 4-year relationship, I never came with them. Never. So I've only ever come to one guy.
It's kind of romantic.
It is kind of
romantic.
Fun fact, one of the guys that I actually had sex with, the reason why I couldn't do it with him, but I came back because, again, my breakup, he moaned like a girl. Do you know how fucking embarrassing that is when you're having sex with him for the first time and you get into it and you realize he starts to moan like a girl? Like,
that's unexpected. That's unplanned for.
That's where I was going with that. I was so unprepared for that situation because I was like, okay, getting into it, and all I hear is him, and I'm like,
whoa.
And then I was like, this is not happening. And I just keep hearing it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I totally just...
Like, it killed everything.
I didn't even come.
You're just
3 times in a row.
Oh my god, no. Yeah. I'm so sorry for you.
I don't even know. The only reason I kept talking to him, again, breakup. But besides that, it was terrible. And then there was another guy who I had sex with a couple times, and that didn't go anywhere either. He just... No matter how attractive I thought he was, and we kind of vibed pretty well, actually. He couldn't make me come. He said he could, and all these things. He was on all these other girls.
He was like the bells and whistles.
He was talking his dick up. Like, he was, oh my God, he was like, yeah, I made this girl come 4 times, you know, before I even came, and all these things. And I legit, we were like having sex, and I was like, I haven't come yet. And I would tell him, and he'd get like really fucking nervous.
Hurting their ego.
Yeah. I ended up telling him that his dick felt like a really cheap dildo that you get for like $17. 7. He deserved it. So on my one-night stands, that one wasn't a one-night stand, but the people who I were in a relationship and kind of having sex with, they all fucking suck, except for my 4-year relationship. So I don't like one-night stands for that purpose.
That's some intense stuff right there. I feel really bad that you've had to experience such dull, dark places.
You don't know dark until you hear moan like a girl.
Oh, God.
Like, that is so upsetting. That's just, you don't know what to do. You genuinely just, like, frozen. I froze. I was like, oh, my God.
This is happening. That's...
But, yeah, those are experiences. And that... I mean, we can go on and on about all these things about sex, but...
We really could, but then this episode would be really, really, really long.
But I do want to say, we love sex just as much as a guy does. Like, girls love fucking sex just as much.
And I feel like we shouldn't be afraid to voice that. Like, we really, really shouldn't. It's just something... Normal. People do it.
People like to feel good. Why not, you know? Like, you do certain things to feel good, and sex is one of them.
I feel like some things you guys can take away from this episode to not be totally unprepared like we were.
Yeah. Don't moan like a girl as well. If you feel like weird, you might be one of those guys,
it turns people off.
It turns people way off. Mm-hmm. And if you're wondering why you're not making her come, that might be it.
That'd be why. try not to emotionally attach yourself to a person or the idea of sex. I feel like that's very important.
Wait, so don't emotionally attach yourself?
Don't, like, for the first time for sex, I feel like.
So you're telling them to not have sex with someone they like?
No, I'm saying not to, like, get stuck on the idea that things are going to be different after sex.
I see.
You know?
Yeah.
And then always wear protection. Like, no matter what, always wear protection. No matter what they tell you, use it. Use it. Prevents STDs, prevents pregnancies, and it prevents, people trying to hold things over your head. Honestly.
That came out of nowhere. Okay.
You did.
Anyways, you guys have to write down any of the topics that we talked about in the fucking comments or DM us.
Yes, we have our social media handles, which are totally unprepared.
Wait, isn't it totally underscore unprepared?
Oh, yes, it's totally underscore unprepared on Instagram and on YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this now, but for those listening, and on anchor.fm/totally unprepared. That one has no underscores. Follow us on social media. DM us what you guys think our next episode should be. And if you want to be a guest on our podcast.
Well, you said like you're a superhero.
No, it's just I was blanking on words. That's usually what I do.
And the funny thing is, this is our very first episode. So to be honest with you, we're actually totally unprepared for these topics. We just kind of went along. So if you kind of like us now, just wait and see till we're more prepared.
Oh, yeah. Are we ever going to be totally prepared?
No. But we can be somewhat more prepared.
Yes, somewhat. You guys have no idea how many times we've recorded this. Maybe like
third
3 times.
The charm.
Yep. Third time's the charm. That's what they say. And it actually does kind of work. I think this episode works.
Yeah, this is way better than the other one.
I really do think that. So with that, my friends, we are closing this episode, and we will see you on episode 2.
Have safe sex.
Safe sex. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
Yay!
Please have safe sex. It's not worth it. Please follow totally underscore unprepared and YouTube and anchor.fm. Thanks. Bye.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Like, condom wrap.
Condom.
Yeah. Wrap it up.
Bitch, that's actually really good.
Okay, bye.
Adios.
Like, you need to turn the camera off.